This video will cover a full 1-hour training of the Retail Lead Management system. When logging in to Retail Lead Management for the first time, open your browser and navigate to retailleadmanagement.com. Supported browsers include Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Safari. If you are using Internet Explorer, please discontinue use as it is no longer a supported browser. From this page, you'll navigate to the login on the far right-hand side. On the login screen, you'll enter your email address and your password. If you wish the browser to remember you, you can select Remember Me here. If you've forgotten your password, click on Forgot Password and follow the prompts. Upon sign-in, you'll be brought to the Open Leads listing page. This version of RLM looks slightly different than the previous version, so let's cover some simple navigation changes. At the top of any listing page, you'll see the global navigation menu. This menu features the listing pages for leads, tasks, and samples. It also features the calendar access. To access any of those listing pages, simply click on that global navigation menu name and select one of the options below. Your plus button is still in the upper right-hand corner, and this is where you can create new leads and tasks. Also, you'll notice a new account menu available at the top of your screen where you can access your account, and depending on your user role, you can also access the link to users, how to create a user, and then also our help page and sign out links are available to all users. The same information is available at the bottom of your screen on the right-hand side. Additionally, you'll see in the listing page edit menu, there are many options available now, including clear filters, the on-the-fly feature, editing columns, and the export feature where available. Okay, let's get into the system. So when you log in, you default to your Open Leads listing page. There are two types of pages in RLM. Listing pages, like this one, which is a giant spreadsheet of all the data related to the particular listing page you're currently on. In this case, all of our open leads. To create a lead, you'll click on the plus sign in the upper right corner, select the name of the pipeline in which you wish to build the lead, and enter the appropriate data. As you enter your information, please note that these fields are completely customizable. So if there's data that you wish to collect, you'll simply let us know and we can make those changes to your system. Those types of fields include drop-down menus, multi-select menus, date menus, time menus, currency, and alphanumeric fields like this one. When you're building a lead, enter all of the information that you know about that customer. In the How Heard field, you can identify the method through which the customer heard about your business. So for instance, we'll say social media, and then in the How Heard source field, we'll say Facebook. These three fields are required: lead source, location, and division. The system requires that these fields be completed for every lead as identifying information. Lead source is the method by which you came into contact with this lead. So if Bob happened to hear about us on a social media or Facebook post, and that caused him to call our showroom, we would select phone as our lead source. If that caused him to come to our showroom, we would select walk-in. A list of definitions of typical lead sources is available on our help page under the reference documents. You may also select the location to which the lead is assigned. If you have multiple locations, we can set that up on your account. Just let us know. And then you'll also choose the division. This pipeline happens to only have one division associated with it, therefore it's defaulted. But if you have multiple divisions, we can accommodate that. If you have any relevant notes about this lead, you'll enter them in the notes section. Let's take a quick look at a few other fields on this leads detail page. Deal name is a very common field, and it's used to describe the project. Promo type is another one where you can customize the options or leave it as an alphanumeric field. Products interested in is one of the multi-select fields, and this is a very helpful way to identify what brought your customers in, and then later you'll see a product sold field to identify what was actually purchased. Now that we have the details of the lead completed, we'll click Create Lead at the bottom of the screen, or the same button is available at the top of the screen. Once the lead is created, you'll be brought to the lead's detail page. A few other navigation changes to point out here. This is the lead summary card. It features the lead's name, the pipeline in which it was built, and any other relevant information regarding tasks or assignment. Below, you'll see the Quick Actions menu. This features your changing stage area, your secondary lead tasks, and other options that you previously found in the Sprocket menu. If you reduce the size of the browser, or if you're using Retail Lead Management from a mobile device, those options may appear differently to you, but they are all still available. You can click More to see more options. Finally, the tabs are still in your lead detail page, and they are accessed here. Okay, so we've created our lead for Bob Roberts, and as you can see, it's needing to be assigned. I am set up as a managerial user in the system, therefore I'm being prompted to assign this lead. If I were set up as a full view or single view user, a lead that I would create would automatically assign to me. So let's get this lead assigned. If I had assigned it to another individual, they would receive an email indicating that a lead has been assigned, and they can click right through that email to begin working the lead. So what do I mean by working the lead? Well, let's take a look at how to do that. First things first, let's take a look at all the information that we entered on this lead's detail page. You'll see that the email is hyperlinked and also includes a copy to clipboard function. This enables you to copy this email address easily by clicking the icon and then pasting it in your preferred email provider. We also have an email integration feature still available. By clicking on the email address, it will prompt a new email message in your preferred email provider, and it will include the line of code on the CC field. This line of code will allow the email to be routed back to the Notes tab of the lead. That CC code that we saw in our email integration email is also available at the top of the lead. Click on the Copy RLM internal email address to use that at any time. Let's click Refresh to take a look at our Notes tab. And here we will see the contents of the email we just sent. If the customer replies to all, a copy of their message will also be visible on this page. Clicking back on the Details tab, we'll notice the address has provided two links, View on Map, which will take you to the Google Maps page for that address, as well as the Zillow property info. If this is a residential address, you will be provided with the Zillow page information for that address, helping you qualify your customer before you ever get into their house. Okay, so let's talk about the quick actions menu. Let's start from the More and work our way to the left. The first option available here is Delete. Delete is a restrictable item based on your user role. Your system admin or business admin can set restrictions per each individual user. If you have been restricted from deleting leads, this option will not be available. Deleted leads can always be restored by a system or business admin. Deleted leads can be restored by a managerial user. Next up is Edit Lead. This is how you can edit the contents of the lead's detail page. Let's click on Edit, and we can see all of the fields are opened up for us, and we can make changes here. You'll notice there are additional fields, and these will be prompted as we move this lead through the process of the sale. But if any other changes need to be made, they can be done here, and you can scroll to the bottom of this page or click on Save at the top. Canceling will not save any changes and will revert any changes that you have entered back to the original lead. Next up is the View Similar Leads option. If there are leads in the system that are open leads in the same pipeline as the lead you're currently looking at, you will see this option available. This will identify any leads with the same last name, email address, or phone number. When merging leads, be sure to start on the lead you no longer wish to keep. All detail page data will be retained by the lead that you are merging into, or the destination lead. Follow the prompts to complete the merge. Back on the Quick Actions menu, we see an Add Sample. This is how you can add a sample to a lead. You can also do this on the Samples tab. Click Add Sample, the tray appears. You'll enter the relevant information. You can see item type is a required item. And then we'll enter any other relevant information about this particular sample that the customer is checking out. There are 3 status options with sample checkout. No return indicates the sample is being checked out and will not be returned by the customer. This could be a swatch or a small sample that you don't need back in the showroom. On order will indicate that this sample has been ordered with the manufacturer and will be shipped to the customer directly. You'll be given the option to set an approximate delivery date. Finally, with customer, will indicate that the sample is being checked out by the customer and will be returned at a later date. When you select this status, you'll be given the approximate return date field. Simply click in the field and select the future date. And once you're done, go ahead and click Add Sample. You'll be routed to the Samples tab. You'll notice, however, the tray does stay open. This is just in case you need to add additional colors or similar styles, and you don't have to retype all of this data. Once that's complete, click Add Sample again. And when you're done checking out samples, you can click Close or simply click off of the tray to be brought to that Samples tab. Here you can see the details of the samples that have been checked out, as well as the day they are due back and their current status. The option to delete a sample is available for those users who have not been restricted from doing so. With any restrictions, please note that the option to do that item will no longer appear for those particular users. If you need to add additional samples, you can always do so from the Samples tab or from that Quick Actions menu on the Leads detail page. You also have the options to print receipts and to email receipts. The email receipt feature will appear if the lead has been entered with an email address. The email will be sent from the user's email with whom the lead is assigned to the lead's email address. So in this case, an email from me went to bob@test.com. Back on the Samples tab, we will see the ability to edit any sample is available right in the sample's name here. Simply click on the hyperlinked information to open up that tray again, make any changes, and save those. We can see we still have 2 samples checked out, and the changes we made have been saved. Finally, you'll notice this button with customer is a status toggle button. Click that button to return the sample once it's been returned. You will notice the date updates to today's date, and you can continue clicking through this button to change the status. That's the sample checkout module. Remember, all of those samples will route back to the samples listing page. So we can check on all the samples out with customer, on order, returned, or all samples in general. This is a quick and easy way to return a sample when a customer comes back into your showroom. You can search by sample information, by customer information, or even by phone number. On the far right-hand side of the sample listing page, you'll see the status date. Click through the line to get to the detail page and be brought right back to the Samples tab. All right, next up on our Quick Actions menu is attaching a file. You can do this from the Quick Actions menu as well as the Files tab. Click on Attach File, and a tray will open up where you can drag and drop files into the tray, or you can click here to open up a traditional file picker. Once you've made your selection of file, click Open, and here in the attachment name, you can enter a relevant name. When you're ready, click Attach. Please note that you can upload multiple files at a time by simply adding more files to this area. Once you're done, click Attach. It'll be brought to the Files tab of the lead, and we can see the 2 files have been added. On the Files tab, you'll see you can attach files directly from this tab. You can clear your filters that you've added to the listing page columns. You can download selected files, and you can delete selected files. Deleting selected files is a restrictable item. To select a file, simply click the checkbox beside the file name and then the appropriate action you wish to take. Next up on our Quick Actions menu is Assign. If we needed to assign this lead to another individual user, we could do so by clicking Assign and then selecting that user's name. And once we do so, click Assign again. Remember, assigning a lead is a restrictable item, and single view users do not have that option. Creating a lead from a lead is a way to address repeat customers easily. Navigate to a previous lead of Bob Roberts in this case, once he comes back into your showroom for his next project, and click Create Lead from Lead. Doing so will create a brand new lead with all of the information from his previous lead. You can make updates, and then you can also select different lead sources, locations, divisions, how heard information. And once you're ready, create his brand new lead to begin working that. Working our way up, the next option is Add Secondary Task. We're going to skip over that and go to our Change Stage. Changing the stage is how you work the lead through the different steps of your sales process. This tray looks slightly different than it used to, and there are a few more options available now. Within the Stage Change tray, you are able to reassign the lead to another user automatically. This is based on restrictions. So if you do not have the ability to assign a lead, or if you are a single view user, you will not see this appear. Below the Assign To field, you'll see New Stage. These are customizable based on your account and should accurately reflect your sales process. You'll move the leads from stage to stage to reflect where you're currently at in that process. So if Bob Roberts came into our showroom and selected some LVT, maybe the next step for us would be to schedule a measure. So we'll select the measure stage, choosing appointment for the new task. And then in the new task regarding entering the relevant information about what we are going to do. Below that, in the new task date field, select the date that you're going to do this particular task, and then any relevant start times. The end time will default to 1 hour past the start time set and can be changed if needed. Enter any relevant notes and click Save. This will update the lead, changing the stage, which you can see in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see the confirmation that the lead has been updated. And in the lead summary card now, you'll see that the primary lead task has been set with that stage change. To make updates to that primary lead task, you may click on Appointment, Edit, or back to the change stage. All three things will bring up this menu on the right side of your screen. As you can see, the first option is a little bit different than the first task we set. It's asking, have we completed that current task? So we'll say yes. We are given that option to assign this lead and this task to another individual if we would like. And then below, we can change the stage and set the next task. So next, let's move this into the estimating stage. And we'll say work on quote and email to the customer. And we'll do that by Monday. Retail Lead Management will send you daily agenda emails as well as daily stalled emails. On Monday, my daily agenda email will include this task. Let's take a look at a daily agenda email. This was my daily agenda email from today, showing me all of the leads and tasks that I need to follow up on that are due today. This will be a morning notification, and each user will receive it if any tasks or follow-ups have been scheduled. This will also include any samples due back, as well as user tasks. Likewise, the daily stalled email is another way to remind you of anything you may have missed. For managerial users, the daily stalled email will include any other users within the locations, divisions, and pipelines to which you are assigned. For individual single view and full view users, they will see stalled notifications as they are relevant to themselves. With any notification from RLM, you are able to click through the notification to get right to the lead or task or item listed. Back into the leads detail page, let's update this lead one more time and change the stage. Answer whether you've completed that current task. If you need to assign it to another user, you may here, and then in the new stage dropdown, select the next stage. Please note, there are two types of stages in retail lead management, an open status stage and a closed status stage. Open status stages will require a task of the user that is assigned to the lead. Closed status stages will indicate your job is done and allow for the option of setting a task. In this case, everything from contacted through sold job completion follow-up is considered an open status stage and will require tasks of the user assigned to the lead. Completed sale and no sale / lost are closed status stages. Let's move this lead into the quoted stage. In the quoted stage, you're prompted for new information, including the quote amount, and custom fields can be included as well, like ambient temperature and relative humidity and substrate type. Enter the information as you have it. And then scroll below to set your next task. Be sure to set the correct date on which you wish to do this task and any relevant start and end times. If you have more notes, please enter them here and then click Save. All right, so we've moved this lead into the quoted stage. Now that we've got a feel for how to change the stages, let's talk about secondary tasks. Adding a secondary task allows you to include additional tasks that are associated with this lead and assign them to yourself or other users. By clicking Add Secondary Task, a new tray will appear, and you'll have the option to set the type of task it is, assign it to yourself or another individual, indicate the information regarding this task. So for this example, we'll ask Claire to gather warranty and maintenance information. And we'll want to make sure she gets that to Bob by Wednesday the 30th. Click Save, and we'll see that the lead summary card has been updated to include this secondary lead task for Claire. You can add as many secondary lead tasks to a lead as you wish, and you can assign them to yourself and other people. To clear out a secondary lead task, simply click on the To Do or Edit on that task. The tray will appear, and now you have a few more options. You can resave the task without changes or make changes to the date or information and save them that way. You can save and mark a task complete, or you can delete a task. Deleting tasks is a restrictable item, so if you are restricted from deleting tasks, this option will not appear. In this case, we'll say that we have scheduled the install and we'll mark Save and mark Complete. Saving and marking a secondary task complete will clear it from the lead summary card. All right, so now we've worked through all of the items on the Quick Actions menu. Now let's take a quick look at our tabs. The Notes tab has been recording a running history of everything we've done with this lead, from the moment we created it, all the way at the bottom, the email that we sent, as well as the stage changes and tasks that we set. Please note that the notes included in your stage changes are recorded on the Notes tab. Secondary lead tasks are also recorded here, and you can see when a secondary lead task has been marked complete. All of the notes indicate time and date stamps, as well as the user that did that particular action. You can include manual notes here at any time. On the far right-hand side of each individual note, there are two icons. The thumbtack will allow you to pin that note, leaving it at the top of the page. The next option over will allow you to unpin notes, edit notes, and delete notes. Editing and deleting notes are restrictable items based on your user settings. To unpin, you may also just simply click on the push pin. There's also a button at the far right on top of the notes page that will allow you to expand any collapsed notes. Notes that are longer than a certain character length will be shortened or truncated to allow for ease of use of the notes page. You'll be able to expand those notes individually by clicking the Show More buttons or expand them all by clicking Expand All. The next tab is our Files tab. We took a look at this earlier, but please note this works like a listing page, which we will cover later. You're able to search and sort and filter these columns. Our Samples tab is next, which we took a look at earlier as well. And Remote House Calls is a feature that is an additional integration available with RLM, enabling you to make augmented reality calls and connect the information captured on those calls directly into RLM. For more information on this, please check out our Remote House Calls videos on our help page. Leads can not only be entered in Retail Lead Management manually via the plus sign, as we've just covered, but they also may come in through an API integration. So if you've had your website connected to Retail Lead Management via such an API integration, you'll receive email notifications indicating new leads are created when your customers complete Contact Us forms like this one or other forms on your site. For example, we'll hit Submit. Let's check our email to look for the new lead API notification. We've received this email indicating a new lead has been created via that API integration, and we can click right through the email to get to the lead's detail page. Here are all the details of the lead that was created via that API connection. Please note that only managerial users may receive the new lead API notifications like the one we just saw. When you click into the leads detail page, you'll be prompted to assign that lead to yourself or another individual, and you'll work the lead the same way we did our previous lead by moving it through the different stages of the sales process using the Change stage in the Quick Actions menu. Now let's click over to one of our listing pages. From the Global Navigation menu, click into Leads and open Leads. This is where we started when we logged into the system. Listing pages look, feel, and function very similar to one another, whether you're on Leads listing pages, Tasks listing pages, or Samples listing pages. It's just really a difference in data. I recommend working every day from your open Leads listing page to catch any of the leads that may be unassigned, and from your incomplete Tasks listing page, so that you're always up to date on anything that is incomplete in terms of your tasks. Between those two listing pages, you'll have all of your leads and tasks covered. Now within the listing pages, the work, feel, and function is similar and very detailed. Each listing page allows you to move columns to different positions on the page simply by clicking and dragging and dropping the column into a new position. You can do this with any listing page, and the preferences will be remembered by two things: the listing page you are on, which right now is currently Open Leads, and the device through which you're accessing RLM. You can also edit your columns position by using the Edit Columns feature in the listing page edit menu. Click on the Edit Columns feature, and here to drag and drop columns position, click in the three parallel lines or the hamburger menu and drag it up or down and drop it into a new position. You may also hide columns by using the toggle on and off switch to hide columns from the screen and to unhide columns and bring them back into view. You may also toggle all columns on or off by using this button at the top. If you'd like to find a column quickly, you can do so by using the filter, and then you can turn that column on or off or move its position easily. Click off of this tray to get back to your main screen. Within each column, you'll see a downward pointing arrow in the top right of the column name. Click that arrow to sort a column's contents, ascending, descending. You can also hide your columns here, just like we took a look at in our Edit Columns button from the listing page edit menu in the upper right, and you can pin columns to the left or right. Sorting a column can be done easily, and you can compound your sorts. Compounding sorts will be indicated by the numbers at the top of the column. To remove a sort, just click the downward pointing arrow and click Remove Sort. Back on that downward arrow, as we mentioned, you can hide a column. And to bring that column back, simply click on your Edit Columns menu and toggle it back on. And finally, your pinning features. Pinning a column to the left or right will enable it to be on the left or right side of the screen and locking it in place as you scroll. To unpin a column, simply click on that downward pointing arrow and select Unpin. It will put it back into its previous position on the page. Next up, there are filter options. There are 3 types of filters on a listing page. The first one is featured by a blank field just below the column name, as shown in the first name, last name, company name, and so on. Click inside that field and begin typing to filter your information. As you filter, you'll see that the number of leads reflected by the filter is showing at the top. So currently there are 14 leads with BOB in the first name field. You'll also notice this is looking for BOB at any position in that field, whether it be the first 3 letters, the middle letters, or the last 3 letters. You can continue doing your search by typing in another field and putting in more data. So now we have 2 leads that are reflected in the search information. To clear your filters, you may click the X beside the filter individually, or to clear all filters at once, click on Clear Filters from your listing page edit menu. The second type of filter on the listing pages is a drop-down menu filter, a single select filter. You'll see this in task date, task start and end times, samples, and as you scroll across many other columns. This will enable you to filter by one of the preset selections. In this case, we'll select anything that has a past due task date, and we'll easily see anything that is past due. To clear that filter, click your X or Clear Filters to remove all filters from the screen. Filters will refresh your data on the screen, as you can see, and to refresh all of your data to get the latest and greatest and most up-to-date number of leads, simply click the Reload button on your browser. The third type of filter on a listing page in retail lead management is something we call a smart and dynamic filter. You'll notice these by the blank field as well as the funnel icon. The blank field is searchable, just like first, last name, and company name fields, and the funnel icon will enable you to make multiple selections. So we're going to click on the funnel icon and we'll see all of the available stages that we can filter by. So let's click the accepted stage and the assigned stage and filter by any lead in one of those 2 stages. We'll click filter and only the leads in those stages will appear. So currently we have 9 leads out of the 1,577 that are in one of those 2 stages. clear that filter, you can click your X. On that Smart Dynamic funnel icon, you'll also notice that there are options to select empty or not empty. So if you wanted to identify a column that did not have information entered into that particular field, you could select empty or not empty to filter in a more broad stroke. Now, all of these filters can be compounded with one another, very much like the sorts. So you can have a filter in the stage column, the first name column, the task date column, as many filters as you wish. Again, just to remove all filters, simply click Clear Filters. You'll also notice that several columns have the bar graph icon. This is the on-the-fly reporting icon, and it will enable you to run quick reports from the data on the screen. Currently, there are no filters on screen, so when we click this bar graph on the stage column, we'll get a breakdown of all 1,577 leads and what their current stage is. So 313 are in the quoted stage, or 20% of our overall leads that are open. To save this as a picture file, click Save, and you may click Close to close it out. Now, those on-the-fly reports can be used in conjunction with filters as well. So if we wanted to take a look at all the leads in that quoted stage, we'll just do a quick filter here by doing that search. And we'll easily see that 313, just like we saw in our report, are in the quoted stage. Now let's take a look at our task date field and see, of those leads in the quoted stage, how many are set for task dates in the next 7 days. This should be a little bit less than 313. Yep, 219 leads match these filter results. So now let's take a look at the assigned to column and how many leads that match these two criteria are assigned to each individual salesperson. Before we do that, we'll click on the fly. This will isolate the leads that we've filtered. So you'll see the number here changes when I click on the fly. We're now isolating those leads, and the report will be solely out of the 219 leads we've filtered. So back to the assigned to reporting icon. And we will quickly get a breakdown of how many quoted leads with task dates in the next 7 days are assigned to each of these users. So quickly we see Scott has 11% of those leads, Mo has 9%, and Cole has 8%. You can use these reporting features very effectively to manage your business. One of the favorites is the closed rate. So let's just clear the filters on this page, just so it's a fresh page the next time we come to it. If you ever land on a listing page and it does not have the data you're expecting, often there's a filter in place that hasn't been cleared. So best rule of thumb is to click Clear Filters. Now let's navigate to closed leads. These are leads in one of those closed status stages we talked about earlier, which means their job is done. And in this case, we have 2 closed stages: no sale, lost, and completed sale. To easily run your close rate for your company, we'll do a couple of filters and get our quick report. So what I'm going to do is look for our closed out date and pin that column to the left just to make it a little bit easier to run these reports. So you're going to see some of these listing page features in play here. So let's take a look at all of the leads that have been closed in the last 90 days. Adding that filter, we'll see an update to our number over here in the upper left corner. So 1,449 leads have been closed in the last 90 days. And now let's take a look at our company's close rate as a whole. So we won't add any other filters, but before we run the report, which will be from the stage column, we'll want to isolate those leads. So click on the fly button, confirm that isolating has happened, and then go ahead and click on that reporting icon in the stage column. So very quickly, we can see in the last 90 days for our whole company, the close rate is 57%. 57% of the time, those leads were moved into the completed sales stage. Great. Now let's dive deeper. Let's add a filter in the assigned to column so we can evaluate an individual salesperson's performance over the same time period. Let's take a look at Garth. We'll add this filter. We'll verify the number of leads that Garth has closed in the last 90 days. He's closed 83 leads. And remember, this is either sold or not sold. No sale lost or completed sale. Now we'll isolate his leads by clicking on the fly. And then to our stage column, clicking on that reporting icon, we'll quickly see his close rate is at 72%. So he's far above the overall company average for the same time period, and he's closing 72% of his leads. So that's a quick way to run your close rate with retail lead management. There are many more ways that you can use those listing pages and the reporting functions embedded therein to pull out other information, like how heard, your lead source, diving into how your customers are reaching you and hearing about you. So any column that has that reporting icon can have a report run from that information, and it can be used in conjunction with your filters. We're going to go ahead and clear these filters. We did not talk about our export feature here. And so if you need to export any of the data from a listing page into a comma-separated values sheet, you can do so by clicking export. This feature functions slightly different than it used to. It queues your export, and you will receive an email once that export is ready. The email will contain a link which will route you to your report, and you can download it directly from that link. You can also view all of your generated reports by going to your account, which is in the account menu, and then you'll click on the Files tab. So we can click OK here, or we can get routed to our account menu right here by clicking that, and then over to our Files tab, and we will see our downloads listed here. Once they're out of the queue, they will all be available right here, and also you will receive that email. Just like your Files tab on your lead, you can attach files, clear your filters, download selected files, or delete selected files from this tab on your account user page. Let's click over into our calendar from the global navigation menu. Your calendar feature can be accessed here, and it will show you all of your incomplete tasks, and it will allow you to look at other users' calendars as well, depending on your user role and the settings. So I'm currently set to look at only my events, and I can see my events for the balance of the month as well as any past due events I have. In the listing page view below, I can see each item individually, and I can also click on the date and hover over those items. By clicking on any of these, I will be brought to that lead or task individually. If I click on all events, I will see all the events for all of the users in my system. I can also click back on my events, clear myself out, and look at other individual users' calendars if I wish. So here's Claire's calendar and the events that she has left for the month. You can view this monthly, weekly, or in a daily basis if you wish. Now, there are user tasks available in the system, and right where you clicked on your plus sign to create your very first lead, you can also create user tasks. So it just gives you another way to utilize retail lead management for all of your task information. Select the type of task you wish to set. And if you have a managerial user role, you will be prompted with the assigned to field. As a full view or single view user, you will not see this field. You will only be allowed to set user tasks for yourself. Mark it as private if you only wish for the assignees to have visibility of this task within the calendar and incomplete tasks listing page, and mark it as a goal if you wish to set a goal for someone to achieve by setting this task. In the regarding, just as you would on a lead task, set your information regarding what this is about, and then your relevant start and end dates in this case. So you can set tasks that are multiple days. If it's one day, simply click on it twice. You'll verify the data up here and click set. You do have the option to set a timeless task or make a time for that task. Once you're done, you may add notes or simply click save. I've been routed to the incomplete task listing page after I've created that user task, and you can see there's one listed for myself as well as Claire. To easily get back to your calendar from your incomplete task listing page, you may click on the calendar icon within the listing page edit menu. This listing page works, feels, and functions just like the leads listing page we looked at earlier, and you can see all of the filters are available and easy to use. Information may also be exported from this listing page as well as the samples listing page. Now that's a pretty quick overview of how to use retail lead management. We hope you like the fresh look of the system and the ease of use. Before we go, one thing I want to click on in our account menu is the link for the help page. Go ahead and click on that link to be routed to your retail lead management help page at any time. Click on that to find helpful instructional videos and reference documents to give you even more details about how to use this system effectively. The help page will also feature a video regarding how to create new users, which has not been included in this training. For system admins specifically, you'll want to take a look at that video. You are the only user role that is allowed to set up new users. So go ahead and click on the help page and click on the video or reference document regarding how to create a new user. Thanks for your time today. I hope you found this information useful. Remember, you can always reach us by emailing help@retailleadmanagement.com or info@retailleadmanagement.com. We appreciate your business. Thanks so much for watching.